What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome in to episode number 238 of the allegedly award-nominated, still believe number 9 ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, part of the Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast network. It's KB and Deej coming at you with an earlier than usual in the week episode, because before we get into all the nuts and bolts and all the business stuff that we always do at the top of the show, we're giving away 4 tickets to DC semifinals this weekend. 4, not one of them things, not 2 of them things, not 3 of them things, but we're giving away to Dan Bucaro 4 of them things.
Dan? For real? We gonna act like he the best player in the league? We're at fault.
He was the first name that popped in my head. Because we're gonna have eulogies for 3 teams during our Boston quarterfinals recap, and the first team that we're gonna have a eulogy for is Dan Bucaro's Adler Lacrosse Club.
But still, that's just so disrespectful to the great Lyle.
I mean, we gave our eulogy to Lyle's squad.
We giving away that Thompson pack.
But you know who's still playing this weekend that we're giving away the pack for?
Brownie?
Will Manny.
Oh.
Well, we don't even know if Brownie's playing yet.
I think Brownie playing. I ain't no way he's not gonna play against the Whips.
But we're giving away 4 tickets. It's our pin tweet on Twitter, at OTBLaxPod on Twitter. Follow and retweet. Subscribe to the YouTube. Tag a friend in the tweet. That's all you got to do. The winner gets announced on Friday. That's why we're recording this episode early. We're giving away 4 tickets for free. Faux free. It's that simple. Shout out to the league for hooking us up. Wild shit. Some stuff. Some things that just you don't think would ever happen, they happen. So shout out to the PLL for hooking us up. But we're giving away 4 tickets. I'm going to leave that up for quite some time until we get to our first segment. But go enter. Go get a chance to get 4 tickets to DC. Plenty of time to figure out a situation to get there, especially if you're on the East Coast. So go enter. Follow us on the socials. At OTBLaxPod, Twitter, Instagram. Follow DJ on Twitter at SCS_next. Great. DJ, what's the Twitter count at right now?
The Twitter count is currently at 498.
Follow this man.
Just 2 away.
Follow this man's at SCS_next. Great. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Check out the website, undergroundsportsphiladelphia.com. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. It really helps the show, helps more people find the show, gets us on those charts, gets the numbies cooking. Just like when you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, where you get full video episodes of every single podcast on our network, including Outside the Box, usually every single Friday. You're getting it on Thursday this week because we're giving away 4 tickets to DC semifinals. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, smash that like button, ring the bell icon, and comment down below who you got winning this weekend in DC. And if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, we get the 1K. We got the hashtag Road to 1K Gauntlet Challenge that we're still working on our leg for, but we did get the Top Bins leg, Deej. We got Top Bins leg earlier this week. They will be taking the plunge back to 2006 and rewatching, breaking down, analyzing the Germany versus Italy 2006 World Cup matchup. So that is the latest entrant into the 1K Gauntlet Challenge. We will have ours soon. We're working on it. Still waiting on that text from Nat St. Laurent. Say, the meeting of the minds, if you will. And if you subscribe to the YouTube, it helps us monetize the channel, to which I can get better Wi-Fi, because apparently my Wi-Fi is not working late night. Like DJ and I are always working late night. So subscribe to the YouTube. Shout out to the sponsors who make this show happen. Tomahawk Shades, Deej, they dropped a new class of sunglasses. Named them after me. Didn't even tell me. They're not my style, but they might be yours. They're called the Bennett. And you can go to tomahawkshades.com. Use code USP for 25% off your order at tomahawkshades.com. Kenwood beer. Best merch drop of the summer. It's still summer. It's still summer until technically, legally, September 21st. So, go get your Kenny merch. The Kenny rope hat. The It's a Bad Day to Be a Kenny shirt. And, of course, use that all-new and improved Kenny tracker to see who's got Kenwood beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. You got to be 21 or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. And the boys over at Bino. Every week leading up to the World Cup, Bino board will be dropping a new World Cup team-inspired board. New one is dropping this Friday, Deej. Team France. And it looks clean AF. Go check that out. Check out everything Bino's got to offer. All the World Cup boards will be coming with the limited edition World Cup-inspired carrying case. That's binoboard.com. Code BINOUSP for 10% off your order at binoboard.com. And, did I mention we're giving away 4 tickets to DC semifinals this weekend? Go check out our pin tweet at OTBLaxPod to figure out how to enter. Deej, how are we doing, brother?
I'm exhausted. Love traveling. Breaks you down. Now that I'm back in the swing of announcing, I got volleyball, I got football, I got soccer. I'm still coaching. Still got my everyday radio job. But the grind don't stop.
We will sleep in February.
Maybe.
That is the tentative date.
Well, you will.
Will. Not technically in February. Once February is done and over with, that will be March 1st will be the first day that I sleep from now until then.
Oh, yeah, that's you. I mean, I'm still coaching, still announcing, still watching college lacrosse.
But I may be getting more added onto my play-by-play plate this year, so I may not be sleeping ever again.
You need to start watching some college lacrosse.
Well, we'll see if we can fit that into the schedule because we might be doing fall, winter, and spring sports this year, and it's going to be an absolute doozy. I feel like Pat McAfee just not getting paid nearly as much.
Did you see that clip of him playing the tuba?
No.
Oh, man. It's like it was some national championship game. Clemson won, and he asked to hop into the band. It's just him playing the tuba. And then walking through the tunnel, and he's playing the tuba.
I feel like we are on that Pat McAfee grind. We got back from Boston very early on Monday morning, and it was a doozy of a day for myself and for Deej. But the weekend overall, I feel like we exercised our Boston demons. We had a very successful road trip to Boston/Foxborough. Hung out with an incredible crew on Saturday night after the games. Shout out to Sarah, Dan, and Hutton. And shout out to RJ and Paul, and we got to hang out with everybody from the PLL. Boston was great. I felt like the atmosphere was phenomenal. We were down on the field at Gillette Stadium, which you don't get to do every single day. The games, they were a little one-sided for everybody that advanced, but nonetheless, still an exciting time for the quarterfinals. Big names in the house. Camille Kostick was in the building. Gronk quote tweeting Andy Towers. And we have our semifinals set. The recap of Boston, though, we had the 2.8%, brother. You knew our pick from when we recorded our most recent pod. We went with Chrome with our heads, but our hearts and our guts went with Chaos. We even tweeted that in the picks graphic. We said, you know who our real pick is for the first game. Y'all know we were riding with Chaos, even though Chrome was our League Pass team of the year. Which we got to figure out our own version of League Pass so the NBA doesn't sue us. Yes. But you knew we were rocking with Chaos. Those are the boys. When the boys are ready to rock and roll.
Our Premier Zone team of the year.
I don't hate that. Hopefully the PLL doesn't sue us.
I think they're cool with it. I mean,
it's a work in progress.
We'll have to
comment in the comment section on YouTube what we should name our League Pass team. Hashtag League Pass, not a sponsor. But you knew we were rocking with Chaos. Those are the boys. They have the most players/coaches that have ever been on the pod. I'm pretty sure that number still stands by, like, unique player and people. Obviously, we've had recurring guests like Nat St. Laurent last week. But Chaos are the boys. They rock with us. We rock with them. They're like our babies. And I was very happy to just see them in a zone, proving all the doubters wrong. We got in-person press conferences this week for the very first time in PLL history, because back in 2019 when I was doing press, it was more, run-of-the-mill, set up shop in front of a backdrop, and whoever comes out, that's who you get to. It wasn't as detailed and as, scheduled as the press conferences are now. But that was electric. I love the in-person press conferences. It felt so much more intimate, so much more just accessible, and it did not disappoint at all. Blaze with an all-time response on thoughts on the game.
Yay.
And, Chaos are moving on. The playoffs are like the NBA teams that are like, just get us to the playoffs. It doesn't matter how we get there. Just get us there. There are 3 teams like that, like you mentioned last week. It's Chaos, it's Redwoods, and it's Whipsnakes. And once they get there, it's like, all right, let's just see what we're actually made of. And Chaos get it done. They win 11-3 over Chrome. And I think in this matchup, to me, the biggest thing that stands out is that experience matters as a cohesive team. And it just was not Chrome's day. That's going to happen. Unfortunately, it was in the playoffs, but I think that Chaos experience and that championship experience mattered across the board for them to go out there and just feel confident and play loose, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it in the press conference. We saw that picture of AT in the retweet, and I said, well, Chaos by 1 million, and that was like – it was only a couple minutes into the game, and then it exploded into what it was in. But, you bring up the experience part, and I think that's 1,000% what it is, You look at the Chaos all year, and they're like, we're not stressing too much. We're not stressing. We're fine. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're doing all the right things. We're just not coming out with the result we want. Like, we're right there. We're going to get it. Like, it's just this. It's just that. Once we put that together, we got it. And they proved it. They did not stress all year, got to where they wanted to, not necessarily where they wanted to be, but they wanted to be in the playoffs, and that's where they are, and they turned it on. It was extremely pleasing to see, and the smiles, the energy that they played with. It was awesome. It was, something that you only saw in their one win this year. They didn't really play with that same energy and fun that they played with this weekend.
Yeah, and I think we saw the makings of that after Seattle, where even though they lost, Blaze wasn't as hard on himself. He said, it's a new season now. We're in the playoffs. Like, everything that happened before doesn't matter. Jack Rowlett said the same exact thing in his press conference in Seattle. And I said on the show last week, if Chaos wanted to win that game, going into the fourth quarter, Max Adler was going to have to be facing off at least 40% against Connor Farrell. He absolutely dominated at the stripe, won 61% of his faceoffs, if I'm not mistaken, and Ads was a huge reason that Chaos are advancing, so props to Max Adler for doing the damn thing. Very impressive performance by Challen Rogers. Shout out to the boy. I'm not surprised whatsoever. He's born for the playoffs. He's like Bane in the playoffs. He's molded by it. But Chaos are moving on, and I'm stoked for them. I'm stoked that everybody's mad about it because they're a fucking good team, and people sleep on them because of their 2-8 record. Yes, Bill Parcells said your record, reflects what you are, this, that, and the third. It's different for Chaos. They had one of the most unique seasons, I think, in pro lacrosse history, where half their team was out for a quarter of the season, almost half the season, and they just had to fight and claw and grip their way into the playoffs, which they did, and they're here now. They're relatively healthy for the most part, and I think it wouldn't shock me. And I'm sure it wouldn't shock you either, knowing this team, that on Sunday in D.C. they could go out, shock the world, and get back to the championship game.
Not not a surprise for me at all if they do that. I mean, they're going to play an Archers team, a very motivated Archers team in all respects, because this is their second time back in the semis, and this is their first real time in the semis. The other time was in the bubble, which a lot of players don't count. So they're in kind of new territory, but very motivated.
This is actually Chaos's third time in the semis.
Oh, I was referencing Archers.
Oh yeah, this is Archer's first real time.
Yeah,
it's wild to think that was Archer's first real playoff win.
Yeah. It puts the whole perspective into things, and you bring up the experience. They're motivated, but they're relatively unexperienced in this level of play. Sure, they have some playoff under their belt, but playing in the semis is a bigger deal. You're one game away from the championship. Everybody takes it up that another notch. So it's going to be an interesting game. But I was excited to watch Josh Byrne play last weekend. I mean, looking back at the game in Denver when they played Chrome, he was pretty much shut out. I mean, I think he had 1 point. I think it was one goal, and that was it. And I told you before we even got there, I was like, Josh Byrne's gonna have himself a day. I was like, he's gonna. I was like, first play of the game, he's gonna attack right at JT, or it's gonna be a 2-man game because he's got to get going. And he exploded for 3 and 3, 6 points in the night. Can't ask for better.
Yeah, Josh was fantastic. The boy Chase Frazier just. It makes my heart zing that Chase just is this fucking good, because when we had him on the pod, this is years ago now, 2 years ago now, if not a little more, Chase was electric, and I instantly fell in love with him as a person, just being a fan of him as a person. Now, obviously, he's one of the boys for life, but seeing him get this opportunity now, last year, with Josh, advocating for him to get picked up and does what he does down the stretch for Chaos, and he just has continued to grow and develop. I just love watching that shit, and he's a hashtag our guy, and he always performs. You can always count on Chase Frazier to score at least 1 goal in a game, if not more, and I was just thrilled to just see him continue to contribute for that Chaos team. Chrome, real quick on them before we get to the next game. They'll be back. It was just not their day. This team is going to be, for the most part, all back for the most part. This is something that they'll sit on, and it'll build up in them, and it'll eat them to motivate them a ton to get back to this spot and take it to another level. I know it hurt guys like J-Mac in that post-game presser, but Sean Scanoni was fantastic after the game. He really, we doubted, was he going to be the guy? Is he somebody that you can put all your eggs into the basket of Sean Scanoni? He proved every fucking person wrong. And tip of the fedora to Sean Scanoni this year, because he was phenomenal. I'm excited to continue watching him be the guy for this Chrome team, and we'll see what happens next year. Obviously, there's the looming, Brendan Nichtern military obligations, so we'll see how many games he's going to be able to play next year. But that's the thing about this Chrome team. They're so deep on the attack side of things that, you could have Jax Murrell step back up into his spot that he was in 2021 if Nichtern is out. They have a bunch of guys that can step up, and this Chrome team, this is just the beginning of where they're ready to go to. It sucks that they lost, for sure, as the 2 seed after a phenomenal season that they had, but they'll be back. I'm not out on this Chrome team being, a one and done kind of phenomenon.
No, I'm excited to see, how Coach Sudo messes with this roster and draft picks and free agency and all that to make this team better. This definitely won't be the last time we see them in the playoffs. They'll definitely advance eventually, even if it's not next year, maybe the year after. They have the pieces, Connor Farrell didn't have the best game, but that's not something to expect moving forward. He had a phenomenal year this year. Everything with Sean Scanoni, he was fantastic in that all year. Every week he proved everybody wrong and played fantastic. I mean, I thought he even played pretty well in the quarterfinal game. Just he saw so many shots and so many in close that you can't ask him to save all of those. And then obviously, they have the offense, and it's just a matter of, like you said, Nick Turn. But if he goes, they have options to move down there. Maybe they pick somebody up just in case he goes in the draft, something like that. So they'll answer for that. And defense, I don't think they have to do anything defensively. I think
they have a top 4 defense in the league, however you want to chop it up. And I think you and I have the same defenses probably in our top 4 of Whips, Water Dogs, Chaos, and Chrome being however you want to rank them. Those are the elite tier, defensive units as a whole. And Redwoods are kind of like right there on the precipice. It's just a matter of Arden getting more reps and more consistency. But those are the 4 this year for sure that were, your upper echelon defensive units and who everybody kind of talks about. And not saying that like Archers or Redwoods have poor defenses, but you know what we're getting at.
Yep.
Archers, Redwoods, not the outcome that you and I expected, not the outcome that anyone in Woods Nation expected. I got the limited edition, John. This thing's beautiful. Archers win. They advance with their first postseason win in team history outside of the bubble. Nat said it on the pod. They've never won a game without Eddie Glazner. That still sticks. It was clearly a point of emphasis for this Archers team. It's a kind of attack where, Eddie wasn't. Very emotional press conference from Nat St. Laurent after the game. Don't know how much it's going to be, felt right now, but this Woods team is going to be very different next year.
I agree.
I can for certain, just like after the way things went this year, after just being around this team a ton this year when we were out on the road, and just knowing how free agency is going to be, and obviously Nat dropping the Matt Landis stuff on us last week on the episode, which if you haven't watched that, go watch it or listen to it. This team's going to be very different, and I think that's why Nat was very emotional after the game, because it's not going to be, let's run it back for a 5th year in a row. He knows changes have to be made, and I think big changes are on the horizon for this team, for the better. Don't get me wrong. I think for the better, changes are going to happen so that this team can evolve and progress. And the thing that sticks in my mind always for any team in this league is, I forget which game it was, but Coach Sudo for Chrome said, you look at any team that's gotten younger over the past couple of years, as soon as they got younger, they got better. And that is a trend that has continued every single year. You look at Archers adding Grant to the fold, they got better. You look at Atlas blowing it up and getting younger, they got better. You look at Chrome, they got better. You look at Water Dogs getting Michael Sowers, Ethan Walker, Jack Hanna, they've gotten better. Redwoods have kind of, they've made roster changes a ton. They've brought in veteran players, but they haven't really gotten younger outside of Arden Cohen and TD. I think this offseason is going to be the offseason where Redwoods get younger.
Yep. It's no question.
It's inevitable.
They have to. They realize, they went with the super experienced group to see, if they could lead with total veteranism, and it just doesn't work. You need...
Not everybody can be whipstings.
Yeah, you need a few vets that are going to lead the young guys that have the legs and the skill and the energy and the fun. You just got to have the perfect mix of both.
Which they have a bunch of those pieces in place. I think, you look at a Jules, you look at a Ryder. I still think Isaiah Davis-Allen is a young core piece for this team. You look at Eddie Glazner, who will be back next year. You look at, Garrett Epple will be on this team. You look at TD, Arden. There's a nucleus, there is a core for this team. There's just some question marks at a lot of other positions. I still think next year RP3 will be back. kind of being the quarterback for this team. How much longer he'll be back, who knows? But I think next year he will be back. But I think there's going to be some moving parts on this team for a lot of guys who have been on this Redwoods squad that you Redwoods fans have come to know and love. They might be on the way out. So just mentally prepare yourself. And it's simply just looking at every team in this league who has gotten younger. Not everybody is Whipsnakes, and even the Whipsnakes have gotten younger and still been able to produce and, develop and everything. I just think it's time for this Redwoods team to look themselves in the mirror, make some big splashes in terms of change, and next year I think will be a big, big year for them in terms of just success trajectory. The Archers, they looked like a well-oiled machine, and you and I dubbed it after both games had concluded. Official statement from the Outside the Box podcast: Chaos Archers is officially the second installment of a rivalry in the Premier Lacrosse League. It is official. It's going to happen in the playoffs for a second time. These two teams hate each other. You saw that this year, especially during the regular season. These two teams have beaten each other before in the past, so there's wins on both sides. This is a rivalry. It's bad blood, and I'm here for it. I'm here for more rivalries developing. You all know I want the other semifinal matchup we have this coming weekend to be a rivalry as well. But Archers Chaos, officially from our camp to you can call it a rivalry officially wherever you want to, whether it's talking with your friends in the group chat, on Twitter, in person. Chaos Archers is a rivalry.
Absolutely. That game is going to be fiery. Like I'm so excited for it. You mentioned how good the Archers looked last weekend. I mean, it was tough to see it be against the Woods, but like they clicked on every cylinder. The defense was talking, switching well, sliding, picking up ground balls, clearing the ball well. Face-off did fine. TD did play well, but I mean they did fine even with Ignacio there. He gave them plenty of opportunities, and the offense does what the offense does. So not surprised to see them run away, to be honest, with how the game went. They started off, I think it was like 5-1, 6-1, something like that. And I mean, Connor Fields had points on 4 of the first 5 goals. You let a guy like that get off to a start. He's technically 5th, I guess, when you look at the roster.
Yeah.
Behind the 3 attackmen and Tom Schreiber. So you let the 5th guy go off for 4 points in the first 6 minutes. It's not looking good for you.
Nope.
So it was a tough game, but they came out and did their part, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do this week against that Chaos squad.
Yeah, and in the future, it is confirmed we will have Todd McFarlane as a guest, assistant coach for the Redwoods. He has expressed interest, if you will, for coming on the pod, so we will be setting that up this offseason to have him on the show.
Interest in my thoughts, too.
He was interested, lit up like a kid on Christmas. Last game was Water Dogs Atlas. I think it was Ryan Boyle maybe said it on the broadcast or something. I saw an article that somebody wrote, and there was a quote, I think, from the broadcast that said, Water Dogs Atlas was a blowout and a close game all at once, which it absolutely was. At one point, we were on, postseason most points scored in a game watch, and then on the other hand, we were watching Hutton sweat out a bet that he made that did not end up hitting. But the Water Dogs put up 19 on Atlas, and they advanced to the semifinals. I mean, this Water Dogs team, there was never a doubt from me. They are easily the streakiest team in the league when they get going. And when they are streaking, you don't want to run into them. They are fast. They can spread the ball around, I think, better than anybody in the league in terms of just passing and finding options anywhere around the crease, anywhere around that 2-point arc. And they're getting healthy, which is an even scarier thing if you're the Whipsnakes, because both times that the Whipsnakes played them, they lost key players in both of those games. Dylan Ward was great. Jake Withers was great going up against Trevor Baptiste. You mentioned it in the press conference with Zach Currier being able to help kind of neutralize what Trevor does. Was a big benefit for the Water Dogs. And, I mean, I was... Not that I'm never not impressed with what they do, but it was an impressive showing for 3.5 quarters until Atlas started to go on that little run towards the end of the game. But 3.5 quarters of Water Dogs ball was just like pure dominance, and Atlas looked like, they just got done doing a dizzy bat competition because they didn't know what to do to stop the Water Dogs.
I mean, the Water Dogs just looked like they came for business. They looked like they had things that they came to do last year and they didn't get them done. And they're like, we're here. We know what we're supposed to do, so let's do it. Everybody came. They knew their exact job, and they did it. And it's – I was upset because I wanted to ask this question, but Sarah beat me to it, Sarah Griffin. She was like, she asked about, like, the midfield. Like, they really are the most versatile midfield all across. Like, you can even go back to that game earlier this year where they had their short stick D mids playing offensive mid because they had guys hurt. Like, their mids can go both ways. They don't have O mids and D mids. They just have midfielders. It's amazing to see. So it was an interesting game because I thought Atlas would have had more firepower ready to go. Upset that they had dropped a few and dropped down to 4, but they just didn't have it. And everybody came to compete on the other side, and it wasn't really an even game. It was, like you said, almost perfect ball from the Water Dogs for 3.5 quarters, and then we saw what we thought we would have saw from Atlas all game in the fourth.
Yeah, it was easily one of the most quiet in-person Jeff Teat games that I can remember, like, ever in his pro career. Kieran McCardle was fantastic again. Shout out to the boy. He, including the playoffs now, is leading the league in scoring. 9 years professionally, his first postseason win. Water Dogs' first postseason win in franchise history. So congrats to the Dogs. They advance. They'll be taking on Whip Snakes in the third matchup between these teams, which is always electric when you play a team twice in the regular season, no matter what sport, and then the third matchup's in the postseason. Boston, you did us well. Shout out to everybody there. We went to the Red Sox game as well, which was electric. But now it is on to another scene of the crime. Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, where Chaos were crowned champs last year. They are now playing in the semifinals at Audi Field, which if you are just tuning in for some reason, skipping through, we're giving away 4 tickets to the semifinals this weekend in D.C. It's our pinned tweet on Twitter. Go check that thing out. Run it up. Tell your friends. Tell your family. And go enter for a chance to win 4 tickets. We're announcing the winner on Friday. Chaos Archers, Whips, Water Dogs. Those are the matchups we have this weekend. Lots of history at Audi Field. Lots of history between these teams. And I think arguably this, say what you want about Chaos, but I think this is like an elite semifinals. To have Chaos Archers, to have Whips Water Dogs in a rematch of the semifinals last year. Both of these games are going to be so tenacious. They're going to be nasty. That's what I'm excited about, is that these games, everybody's going to leave everything out there, and it's just going to be a full-blown bloodbath on Audi Field, on that turf, in both of these games. And I'm just so excited to see who comes out on top, because when we get to our pick segment, I have no idea what to even predict in terms of who is going to win these games, because you could tell me, if you go into the future, you could tell me any combination of PLL finals, and I'd believe you. That's how close of matchups these two games are going to be. I'll start with Chaos and Archers. Archers won both matchups in the regular season, and we're kind of known for running up that score differential. Andy Towers tipped his cap to that both times, said it was a necessary evil. These two teams hate each other. I love that. And I'm most excited to kind of just see how Chaos has studied their film from the two games this year that they've played against the Archers and what they can do because both games, if I'm remembering both correctly, like the Archers were able to go on these extended runs of scoring, and I'm excited to see how Jack, Jared, and whoever Andy Towers decides to throw in as the third defender for this team are able to kind of just contain whoever they get matched up against. And as Grant Ament has come back into the fold, it's changed a lot of the roles, and Marcus Holman brought this up in the press conference too. It's kind of changed the roles for Marcus, Will, for Tom a little bit, for Grant, where they've kind of been interchangeable at different positions now. And I'm excited to kind of just see how AT and this defensive unit for Chaos attack those four guys in particular, and then how they decide to approach guys like Connor Fields, Trey LeClaire, and Ryan Ambler.
Yeah, the defense is going to be fun to watch. It's interesting when you play a team the third time in the same year. It's different for this team. The first time they played them, they didn't have everybody, or even if they did, they were just coming back. So they were getting in the groove. Defense was still having communication issues. Second time, I'm not really sure what happened the second time. I thought Chaos really had it together, but once again, Archers have really been a top-tier team this year, except for a few weeks in a row where they had a lapse. But, I mean, they've been playing phenomenal lacrosse all year. Can't discredit that. So it's going to be an interesting game. Neither team is going to lay over. The Archers' offense is going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially because Chaos has no reason to double pull the face-off. So they should be seeing three pulls down low. And I want to know, do they push through the midfield more and try and get, matchups with Trey LeClaire, Ambler, Connor Fields on shorties, or do they run through Grant like normal and then run through that attack group?
Yeah, I think this matchup is going to be the most interesting from just like an intricacy standpoint. And then we have Whips Water Dogs, which I think is just going to be coming down to the final possession. Like, both of these games in the regular season were 1-goal games. The first one was overtime, and the Water Dogs, quite honestly, could have won that first matchup too. Both games, the Water Dogs lost key players. I mean, I've said it all year to people, and I said it in the press box too when we were talking to everybody, like, Water Dogs have the best chance to advance against the Whip Snakes because they played them the best, not once, but twice this year. We're the only team to beat them, so they know how to beat them. And, we get a Bryce Young versus Short King with the matchup that started the whole debate, Michael Sowers and Bryce Young. This matchup, I think, is going to be such a chess match in terms of matchups, in terms of possessions, and I quite literally think whoever has the ball in their stick with that final possession is going to win the game.
That could very possibly be it. This is going to be a bloodbath. I think both these teams are bringing pure aggression, pure energy, pure passion, and they're just going to play hard for all 48 minutes. And it's going to be the team that just really gets that bounce. I think that's really what it's going to come down to, a piping in or the hit of the sweatpants on Dylan Ward, keeping a goal out, a stick getting a piece of a shot or a pass. Something crazy like that is going to be really the determining factor. Nardella and Withers are going to do their thing at the face-off X and battle. I'm really excited. Two very good defenses, two very good offenses. It's a bloodbath. There's no telling really who's going to come out in this game.
And my key matchup is Withers and Courier versus Nards. I think for Water Dogs to have success with their face-off unit, they kind of have to approach this game very similarly to how they approached Trevor and held him to 50% last week, which I think was a season low, if I'm not mistaken, for Trevor, which says a lot about the season Trevor Baptiste had. But I think if I'm Andy Copeland and I'm this coaching staff, you kind of have to do the same exact thing to Nardella, just in a different approach, because obviously Nards and Trevor are two very different face-off guys. But you can approach it similarly, and I think that's what will help Water Dogs if they want to win this game, is just using Zach Courier's ability to go and get those dirty ground balls, to go and use him in transition, which they do pretty much every single game, but it's going to have to be emphasized that much more with the playoff atmosphere and everything. And I'm looking forward to just Michael Sowers continuing to play as well as he has alongside Kieran McCardle. We'll see if Ryan Brown's back this week. And I'm looking at just the young guns on this Water Dogs team, whether it's Ethan Walker, Jack Hanna, who just continue to develop and progress and get better and better as each week goes by. And then you have the Whip Snakes, who just have that veteran, grizzled championship success, who've been here, done that before. And we'll see if the bye week bites them in the ass or not.
Yeah, about to give out a little bit of sauce here that I don't really want to let go. But I think it's something that the Water Dogs should do this week. You tell Withers and Courier, you two are on the ground ball. That's it. That's your job. Make the face off a ground ball and you come up with it. Reese and whoever else they put at LSM, their job is strictly to box out Earhart. He does not get to the ball. That's it. You keep him away from the ball. You keep him out of the play. Let us get it, and we'll play from there. That's something I do with my LSMs from time to time, is just strictly, hey, keep them away from the play so that we can get the ball. It's not something that is overused, but it's critical sometimes, and especially like late game when you really need the ball. Hey, your job is to keep him away from the ball. I don't care what else happens. Keep him away from the ball. And it could be very useful, especially with a guy like Courier. If the ball's on the carpet and he's within 2 yards, it's in his stick. So if you can keep Earhart out of the way, it's a good chances that Water Dogs have the ball in their sticks a lot. Bring up Sowers and McCardle. It's going to be fun. This is the one offense that really gave them quote-unquote challenges this year, but they still balled out. So I'm excited to see them do their thing, but how they challenge the rest of the offense to step up and help, because they're definitely going to need help in order to win this game. Yeah,
DC is going to be fun. It's a place that will forever be in OTB lore and forever in chaos lore, and we'll feed some ducks there, as it is the PLL playoffs, DC semifinals picks of the week, powered by the homies over at Pickup. You guys can go to playpickup.com, start playing the hottest headlines in sports, rack up points on your fan profiles, cash them in for prizes on the Pickup Marketplace. Go to playpickup.com. And we are also giving away 4 tickets to DC semifinals this weekend. It is the pin tweet at OTBLaxPod on Twitter. Go check it out. Enter the giveaway. 4 friggin' tickets to DC. We're announcing the winner on Friday. Go enter. Deej, let's get this thing started. We've got Chaos. We've got Archers. That is our first game, if I'm not mistaken, on the schedule for DC. Chaos returning to where they won their first championship in team history, facing off against their bitter rivals, the Archers Lacrosse Club. And I'm actually completely wrong, because the first game is actually Water Dogs Whip Snakes now. It looks like it was flexed a little bit. So Water Dogs Whips will actually be the first game we talk about here at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC and ESPN+. The Dogs and Whips having played each other already twice this year, both 1-goal games. One went to overtime. Water Dogs are relatively healthy. Whip Snakes have been here, done that before. This is where they lost their first championship. But I don't know about you. It is tough to beat a team twice, and that's what both of these teams are trying to do. But ever since I saw that this was going to be the matchup, ever since I saw Water Dogs were on this side of the bracket, I have said if they could advance and beat Atlas, the Water Dogs are going to go to the championship. I love the way that they've played Whip Snakes this year. This is not a slight to the Whip Snakes. I think this game could also be a 1-goal game or an overtime game. But I am picking the Water Dogs Lacrosse Club to advance to Philadelphia and advance to the PLL Championship and take down the 1 seed Whip Snakes Lacrosse Club.
I said this in the press box this past weekend. It only takes 1 game for the Water Dogs to get high. They remember that feeling of losing last weekend. They got a lot of good things going for them right now. They just played last week, so they got energy. But with all of that being said...
You meant that feeling of losing last year, right?
Yes. With all of that being said, with the theatrics of the picks, I'm going with the Whip Snakes. They give me no reason to go against them. They're back where they like to be in the playoffs, a chance to play in the championship. And I'm really only going against you at a chance to tie this thing up.
I did gain a game on you because you did pick Atlas last week, and I picked the Dogs, so I'm 2 games up now. Game 2, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The defending champs take the field where they won their championship, take on their bitter rival, the Archers. The 2.8%, it is very fitting that it's 2.8%, and Chaos went 2-8 this year. Higher than Chase Frazier's GPA. All the doubters are out there. Chaos looked the best they have all year against Chrome. I think it is very tough for a team to beat another team 3 times in 1 year, which is what the Archers are trying to do. And we're in semifinals now. The going with your head versus your heart picks, you can kick them to the curb. I gotta rock with Chaos. They are the quintessential playoff team, and this is nothing. Would it surprise me if the Archers win? Fuck no. This Archers team is sensational. They are a well-oiled machine. I think this game is going to be a shootout. I think it's got to be back and forth. And I like the way Max Adler has played down the stretch. You know, the last probably 3 regular season games for Chaos, and then that playoff game against Connor Farrell, I think, has built some massive confidence for him. And Blaze Reardon saving 83% last week was massive. So I think he's building even more confidence in himself. And when you've got a confident Blaze Reardon, that's a tough thing to beat. Give me Chaos to advance to a 3rd straight championship and meet the Water Dogs in Philadelphia.
I love y'all. I got your hat on today. Y'all my boys.
Oh, yay. No. Oh, no.
But.
Oh, no. Oh,
heart.
No.
Y'all know where we at. I'm still right here. Still right here with y'all. I wouldn't even
just going with a phantom pick.
Wouldn't even be mad if y'all won, right? But them Archers been trying to get here for so long.
It's very true.
Tom Schreiber still searching for a championship. I think he don't got one in the NLL. I don't think he snagged one in the MLL. So. He might have gotten one in the MLL. Did he play for the Machine when they won?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. I think he played for the Machine, so he's got one there. He's got a couple international titles around there. Nothing like a PLL title. That's new. That's fresh. The kids like to see that. You can't be Captain America without no PLL title. And for the theatrics, of course, I got to try and tie this thing up. I'm going with the Archers.
So there it is. Those are the PLL playoffs. DC Semifinals Picks of the Week powered by Pickup. I'm going with Water Dogs and Chaos. Deej is going with Whip Snakes and Archers. And either way, those championship games will be electric. No matter how you slice and dice it, any of these four teams getting to the championship is going to be a phenomenal matchup. One way, if it's Chaos Whip Snakes, you get a rematch in Philly. If it's Water Dogs Archers, you get the best jersey combo game day matchup in the league.
Until they wear blue and light purple.
You shut your mouth. If it's Water Dogs Chaos, that's like Team Canada A versus Team Canada B. If it's Whip Snakes Archers, that's just an original six matchup of just pure offensive firepower. And I just am excited for that, too.
It's the Philly Showdown.
Hey, it's the Philly Showdown with Matt Rainbow and Grant Amen down there at the Subaru Park. It's not really Philly, but it's Philly. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, let's go fucking Delco, baby. But those are the PLL Playoff DC Semifinal Picks of the Week powered by Pickup. And we'll see you motherfuckers down there in Philly when you get here, but you gotta get there to get here. So yeah, go get those tickies for DC as well. Shout out to all the fucking Delco dads out there, Michael Sowers. Shout out to Maddie Rambo and Grant Amen, Ryan Ambler. All the boys over there are doing the fucking thing, putting on for Philadelphia in the PLL. New top set announced. This was breaking news today. You sent me this, and I was like, what is he sending me? And I said, let's fucking go, boys. We've got PLL Tops cards coming back into the fold. You guys know how we get down. We love the Tops card. Tops, if you want to sponsor the pod, we are open for business because we love opening cards on this show. It's been a long time since we've been able to. But the PLL is coming out with Tops, the 2022 Tops Premier Lacrosse League set. It's getting a full-blown modern hobby release. This includes the promise of 2 autographs and 1 memorabilia card per box. This will be a 200-card base set, which includes stars and rookies from across the PLL. All cards also have a handful of parallels. Rainbow foils, it's like 1 in every 5 packs. And then we've got our typical numbered cards that we've had in the past. Blue will be out of 99. Gold/yellow will be out of 50. Orange will be out of 25. Red will be out of 10. And then black is 1 of 1. We do not... There is a bit of a change up there too, Deej.
No,
we do not have the out of 5s anymore.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which makes me thrilled that I have that Eddie Glazner out of 5.
I got that John Galloway autographed out of 5.
So we have some base cards. We'll also have image variations, short prints that resemble regular cards but use alternative photos. We've got jersey insert cards, relic cards, if you will. Showed a Jay Carlson one, which looks beautiful. They also showed a Brendan Kavanaugh chrome jersey, game-used memorabilia, John. And, like most Topps products, there's a throwback element. Although the company doesn't have a storied history with lacrosse, Topps 1952 will be 1 in every 9 packs. Goes with one of the company's most famous sets. Those cards take the 1952 baseball design and apply it to today's lacrosse stars. They show a Trevor Baptiste card, which looks absolutely beautiful in that style. Other insert collectors Can expect to find in every hobby box include Field Generals, which DJ and I have no idea what that is yet. That's 1 out of every 3 packs. All-Pro First Team, which is 1 out of every 10 packs, so a little bit more exclusive to get the First Team All-Pro cards. And then Award Winners, also 1 out of every 10 packs. All 4 of these sets also have orange, red, and black parallels, which is out of 25, out of 10, and then your 1 of 1s. And then rounding out the checklist is Goal Getters, which is an SP insert set that also uses a Boulder design, has red foil out of 10 and black foil fractors, 1 of 1, and they are the only parallels for these. So it's only out of 10 and then 1 of 1s for the Goal Getters, which they show a Zed Williams card for that one. The way things are going to work, cards per pack for the hobby boxes, you get 8 cards per pack. Packs per box in the hobbies, you get 20. Boxes per case for the hobby, you get 12. And then the set size is obviously 200 cards. And what to expect in a hobby box. So this is if you get the box that has 20 packs. 2 autographs. 1 memorabilia card. All-Pro First Team cards, 2. Award Winners, 2. 8 Field Generals, 2 of the Topps 1952. And then Rainbow Foil Parallels, 4. The release date, which is subject to change, September 28th, 2022. So about 3 weeks away from new Topps cards coming in. I can't wait. I can't wait to open up more cards. The PLL cards are just great. They are beautiful. And the new designs, the new borders, the new players that will be in these sets, the new inserts that will be in these sets are just absolutely beautiful. And I'm so excited that these are finally coming out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these got me into cards. I'm excited. Some new concepts, some that we've talked about on here. Excited to get those and get those moving around. The jersey inserts are awesome. I will literally pass out if I get a Redwoods one. Literally just end the stream right there. I'm logging off. I'm done. No more cards pulled for y'all.
That's how it'll be if I pull a Colin Squires one.
Oh, and I was going to say, if I happen to pull anyone I got sitting up here, I might just do a little jersey card combo sale because why not? You know, like there's so many options with these cards with combos and selling sets and everything. Like I'm really excited for where this is going. This kind of release just shows that lacrosse is growing and it's becoming more of a staple. A company like Topps isn't going to release this many cards for a sport that it has no traction, that isn't making sales. So keep buying cards, keep being invested, keep talking, keep being in the Discord. It's all paying off. This is exactly what we want. And I'm just excited to splurge because I ain't no big bills, but, you know, I got a little bit of money and I'll be working. And sometimes I like to spoil myself. So I will probably spend an absurd amount of money and buy a case because I'm getting paid twice right around the time these cards come out. So I'll have plenty of cards to go through and possibly sell. So
and I'll say this too.
Follow your boy on Twitter and you'll be able to see what I'm selling.
I'll say this too. Do not feel obligated to do this, but I'm throwing this out there. My Twitter tips jar is out there. Any tips from our listeners that get sent to me will go towards us buying Topps cards to open on stream. And we'll figure something out. Like if you donate, like we'll figure out a way to, you know, if we pull one of your favorite players or something, we'll get the card to you, something like that. But by no means do you have to do this, but we are throwing it out there. If you want us to open more cards on a stream like we have in the past, which you can go check out when I pulled a 1 of 1 allegedly. It's on the YouTube channel, one of our first videos ever. But if you want us to open more cards and have the opportunity to open as many as possible, my tip jar is open on Twitter. So you can donate there, and we will certainly be opening at least 1 box per host on this show for sure. We were also talking pre-show, like It's easy to do things through a call like we do every week when you're not in studio. We have to open cards with Michael Harrison. We have to do that. So, Michael, I know you listen every single week. This is the call out. Once everybody gets their hands on some of these cards, we will be doing an opening with you one way or another. We will make it happen. It's got to. It's just the proper thing to do. So
yes,
it's gonna happen.
Yes, I totally agree. I'm so excited for this. When it comes to trading cards, Mike is at the top of the business. Not even just lacrosse, just in all kinds of sports. He has so many cards. Just excited to pull something that I think is awesome. And he's going to go, yeah, that's just pretty basic. Like, if you want to just add that to my set, yeah, we can do a little something, or to pull something that makes him go, wow, dude, that's a fantastic card. Like, it's just going to be awesome to sit on, pull cards with him and get his insight and all that kind of stuff.
So that will be coming in the near future once we all get our hands on some of these things. And like I said, my Twitter tip jar is open if you want us to open as many cards as possible. Do not feel obligated, though, because we fucking love you guys no matter what. But new Topps cards, 200 of them things. It's going to be wild. Shortest episode of all time? No, we're going to wrap up just touching on the NLL draft coming up this Saturday. DJ will be on a plane coming here during the draft. But when he gets here...
Well, technically, I'll be in the car on the way to the airport during most of the draft.
At least the first round.
It'll be over by 6, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. Well, I mean, there are a lot of rounds in the NLL draft.
I should be around for most of it, probably tweeting.
Regardless, when DJ gets here, we might just do a live stream recap of everything that happened. Granted, DJ and I are not the most knowledgeable of the draft prospects this year, so we might be tapping into some of our constituents on the Twitter machine if they are around at that time of night.
Maybe a Spaces might be better.
Maybe a Spaces, something.
Get a couple of those people in and kind of just ask their input on some of these guys.
Nice little way to lead into Sunday at Audi Field, which if you're going to be there, come say what's up because it's going to be a blast. And if I hadn't mentioned already, we are giving away 4 tickets to DC semifinals this weekend. There goes the 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4. It's a pin tweet on Twitter on how to enter. We are announcing the winner on Friday, September 9th, 2022. Go enter. Be a friend, tell a friend. We're giving them things away. You should want these because it's going to be an electric atmosphere. And I know you have 3 friends that you can bring to Washington, D.C. for Sunday and come have a good time and then come say what's up to us and we'll take a picture together and we'll be like, yeah, these are the people we gave our tickets to that the league hooked us up with. So go enter. Go do it. Don't make me stay awake at night and contemplate life because nobody's entering a giveaway for 4 tickets to DC semifinals that the league was so kind and generous to hook us up with because they love what we do. And if you want us to keep continuing to do dope shit, go enter this giveaway. We're able to do this shit because you guys fuck with us. And then the league sees that and the league fucks with us. So go do it. For the love of all that is holy. My brothers and sisters in Christ. Amen. Also, Randy Stotts got traded to Halifax last week. Absolutely fucking bonkers. That's crazy. We'll have NLL talk back soon. Don't worry. I know no guest this week because we recorded early. And we have tickets that we're giving away if you haven't noticed. So that's why there's no guest this week. We recorded early. We're giving away fucking 4 tickets to the semifinals, god damn it. But hopefully next week we'll have, like we've done every single championship game to date, we have had at least one player from the teams playing in the championship. So comment on YouTube who you would want to have on the pod going into championship weekend, whether it's from the Water Dogs, the Archers, the Whip Snakes, or Chaos. And whoever advances, you know we got the hookups, we got the links, and they're not sneaky links. They're out in the fold. They're out in the open. We got those links. So let us know who you would want to have on the pod. You know, in the past, we've had Jay Carlson. We had Jay Carlson last year for Whips. We've had Joe Nardella. We've had Ryder Garnsey. We've had Scott Ratliff when he was playing in the first draft pick game. We've had Kyle Jackson, Ian McKay. We've had... Who did we have? Oh, we had AT in the bubble. So that's just what we're able to work with. You know, that's just a tease. That's a taste of what we've been able to have. Last year we went massive and we had 3 guests. So we could do that again, depending on, you know, the teams that advance. We got some guys that have been hitting us up like, hey, get me on the pod. So stay tuned for that. We'll see everybody in DC. And make sure you guys are following us at OTB LaxPod, Twitter, Instagram. Follow DJ on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. And if you follow us, you have completed one step to go win 4 tickets to DC semifinals on Sunday. It's our pinned tweet. Go check that out. Check out the website, undergroundsportsphiladelphia.com. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Apple. Let us know who you think's advanced into the championship game, who you'd want to hear on the pod for championship week. And do the same thing over on YouTube. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. You get full video episodes of OTB and all your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia shows. You'll get our PLL Tops card opening on the YouTube channel. And if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you also are completing the second of 3 legs to get 4 tickets to DC semifinals this weekend. Go do it, please, for the love of all that is holy. Smash that like button, ring the bell icon, comment who you want to hear on the pod next week going into championship weekend, and be a friend, tell a friend. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're on that road to 1K. We'll have our Gauntlet Challenge leg. Maybe after championship week, we'll have something conjured up for the people. And big thank you to our sponsors, Tomahawk Shades, Kenwood Beer, Pickup, and Bino Board. All of their info is linked in the show notes on audio and in the description on YouTube. But this has been episode number 238 of the allegedly award-nominated, number 9 ranked, and viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For DJ, I'm KB. We'll see you guys at Audi Field this Sunday in Washington, D.C. And until then, we're getting the heck out of here and signing off. Peace.